Over 3,000 years ago, in a land of deserts and dust, a boy was born to a man named Jacob. This boy was Joseph, the beloved son of Rachel. Among his 11 brothers, Joseph stood apart. His father loved him dearly and gave him a special robe, a coat of many colors, a symbol of affection, a symbol of favor, but also a symbol of division. Little did Joseph know that the dreams he dreamt, the coat he wore, and the destiny ahead would cost him everything before giving him everything. From the moment he was born, Joseph carried something different. Not just favor, but purpose. Joseph, young and innocent, shared his heart freely. One morning, he told his brothers about a dream. "We were in the field binding sheaves. Suddenly, my sheaf rose and stood upright, while yours gathered around and bowed down to mine." His brothers looked at him, not with admiration, but with growing bitterness. "Do you intend to reign over us? Are you truly the one who will rule?" Then came another dream. "The sun, the moon, and 11 stars were bowing to me." Even his father, Jacob, was taken aback. But deep in his heart, he pondered the meaning. He remembered the dreams of his youth. He wondered, could there be more? The brothers had enough. They waited for a moment. And one day, that moment came. Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers in the fields of Shechem. When they saw him from afar, anger burned in their hearts. "Here comes the dreamer," one said. "Let's kill him and throw him into a pit. We'll say a wild beast devoured him." But Reuben, the eldest, urged them not to shed blood. "Throw him into this dry well," he said, hoping to rescue Joseph later. So they stripped off his robe and cast him into the pit. It was dark, cold, and silent. Joseph cried out, but they turned away. Soon after, a caravan of traders approached, Midianites on their way to Egypt. Judah proposed, "Let's sell him. What profit is there in blood?" They pulled Joseph out, bound him, and sold him for 20 shekels of silver. A brother traded for coins. A dreamer betrayed. They dipped his robe in goat's blood and took it to their father. Jacob recognized it. "It is my son's robe. A wild animal has devoured him." Jacob tore his clothes and mourned for days. No one could comfort him. Meanwhile, Joseph, helpless and heartbroken, was taken to Egypt. He looked back at the land of his childhood and wept. In Egypt, Joseph was sold to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh and captain of the guard. Though far from home, God was with Joseph. Joseph served with excellence. He worked diligently. He lived with integrity. Potiphar noticed. He entrusted Joseph with his entire household. Everything Joseph touched prospered. From the kitchens to the fields, from the livestock to the accounts, everything increased. But favor attracts attention. Potiphar's wife watched him. Day after day, her desire grew. "Lie with me," she whispered. But Joseph refused. "How could I do such a wicked thing and sin against God?" She persisted. But Joseph remained faithful. One day, when no one was in the house, she caught him by his robe. Joseph fled, leaving it in her hands. Scorned, she screamed. She accused him of attacking her. Potiphar was furious. Without trial, without question, Joseph was arrested. Bound. Thrown into prison. He who ruled a household now sat in a dungeon. Even in prison, the Lord was with Joseph. Joseph refused to let bitterness take root. He served. He encouraged. He led. The keeper of the prison noticed. He gave Joseph charge over the other prisoners. Then one day, 2 new prisoners arrived, Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker. Each had a dream. Joseph noticed their troubled faces. "Why are you sad today?" he asked. They replied, "We both had dreams, but there is no one to interpret them." Joseph said, "Interpretations belong to God. Tell me your dreams." The cupbearer dreamed of a vine with 3 branches, blossoming and bearing grapes. He pressed the grapes into Pharaoh's cup. Joseph smiled. "In 3 days, Pharaoh will lift your head and restore you." The baker dreamed of 3 baskets on his head. A basket. Joe's tone shook. Both dreams came true. Joseph pleaded with the cupbearer, "When you are free, remember me." Mention me to Pharaoh." But the cupbearer forgot. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. And still, silence. 2 full years passed. Then Pharaoh dreamed. 7 fat cows were devoured by 7 thin cows. 7 full heads of grain were swallowed by 7 thin ones. No one in Egypt could explain them. Then the cupbearer remembered. "I know a man," he told Pharaoh. "A Hebrew, in prison. He interprets dreams." Joseph was summoned. He shaved, washed, and stood before Pharaoh. Pharaoh said, "I have heard that you can interpret dreams." Joseph answered, "I cannot. But God will give Pharaoh the answer he seeks." Joseph listened. He paused. He prayed. Then he spoke. "There will be 7 years of abundance throughout the land of Egypt, followed by 7 years of severe famine." Joseph didn't stop there. He advised Pharaoh, "Let Pharaoh find a wise and discerning man and put him in charge of the land. Let him store food during the good years, so Egypt may survive the famine." Pharaoh looked around the room. "Can we find anyone like this man, one in whom is the Spirit of God?" He turned to Joseph. "You shall be over my house. Only in regard to the throne will I be greater than you." Joseph was clothed in fine linen, a gold chain around his neck, a ring on his finger. From prisoner to prince, 7 years of abundance came and went. Then the famine began. In Canaan, Jacob heard that there was grain in Egypt. He sent his sons to buy food, but he kept Benjamin at home. When the brothers arrived, they bowed before the ruler of Egypt. Joseph recognized them, but they did not recognize him. He remembered the dreams. He accused them of being spies. He tested their hearts. He held Simeon as collateral. He demanded they return with Benjamin. They returned home, afraid. Jacob wept. But eventually he sent Benjamin. When they returned, Joseph prepared a feast. But still, he hid his identity. Then he placed his silver cup in Benjamin's sack. When it was found, the brothers tore their clothes in grief. Judah pleaded, "Take me instead. Let the boy go." Joseph was overwhelmed. Joseph sent everyone out. Alone with his brothers, he wept loudly. "I am Joseph," he said. "Is my father still alive?" The brothers were terrified. But Joseph calmed them. "Do not be afraid. You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to save many lives." He forgave them. He embraced them. Love conquered betrayal. Jacob came to Egypt. Father and son were reunited. Joseph lived to see his grandchildren. His bones would one day return to the promised land. Joseph's story is not just ancient history. It's a reminder that the pit is not the end. That prison is preparation. That promotion comes from above. God never wastes pain. You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good.